let's talk a little bit about division. So for dividing, you become pretty good with your facts, I hope by now. They're kind of just the reverse facts of your multiplication facts. So 5 times 4 equals 20. So then you know that if you have 20 and you divide it between 4 people, each of you is going to get 5. So that part of division I think you guys are really good at, and I think you've got a good grasp of. Well, what if we want to do something like 5 into 135? Okay, so that's 135 divided by 5 is another way of writing that. 135 divided by 5. So we're trying to figure out how many 5s are inside of 135. If I have 135 things and I split it into 5 groups, how many are going to go into each group? There's a couple of ways of doing that. When you're doing, this is what we would kind of call long division. Instead of looking at 5 into the whole number, we can start with 5 into the first number. Does 5 go into 1? Are there any 5s inside of 1? There isn't. You can't do that. So that would be 0. So then I add this number in. Now I have 13. How many 5s go into 13? Well, 5, 10, and then it goes past 13. So there are 2 5s that are in 13. So if I put 2, then there's 2 5s in 13. We're going to take those 2 5s out. So we're going to take the 10 out of there. So subtract them, and you're left with 3. Okay? So now we've worked with this number. We got to work with this one yet. So now we drop this one down here. Now we have 35 to deal with. Okay? How many 5s are there in 35? Well, if you think back to your facts, you know that 7 times 5, 5 times 7 equals 35, right? So then 35 divided by 5 would be 7. So we know there's 7 5s in 35. And if you didn't know that, you could count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. There's 7 of them. 7 5s, so 7 times 5 is 35. And now we're left with 0. And so we've figured out our answer, and our answer is 27. There are 27 5s in 135, which means 27 times 5 would equal 135. Okay? All right. So let's look at another one. Let's try another one. Let's try doing 194 divided by 6. Okay? So if I have 6, how many times does it go into 194? Okay? So again, we start here with the 1. Can 6 go into 1? It cannot. So I'll put the 0 up there. So then we look over here. Now I have 19. How many 6s are there in 19? Well, 6, 12, 18. So there's 3 of them. 3 6s. 3 times 6 is 18. So now I'm going to subtract them, and I'm left with 1. Okay, so now we've dealt with that number, we've dealt with that number, we have this one to go. So we drop the 4 down, and now we have 14. Can 6 go into 14? And how many times? 6, 12, 18. So you don't want to go past. So there's 2 6s that can come out of 14. So 2 times 6, 2 6s is 12. Subtract that out, and we're left with 2. Now we've dealt with all those numbers in our dividing. There's no more numbers after it that we can drop down. So, but there's still this 2 down there, which is a little frustrating. But what we do with that is we put it up here as a remainder. So for this question, your answer would be, move that out of the way, would be 32 remainder of 2. Sounds odd, sounds weird, but all that means is 32 times 6. If we do that, times 6, we get 12. 6 times 3 is 18, plus that 1 is 19. See what answer I get if I work it backwards? I get 192. But we started with 194. That's where that remainder of 2 is that gets added in. So the answer is 32 remainder of 2. okay?